Hi guys, welcome to this intro session for UpGrad's Learning Week for Machine Learning and AI. My name is Ravi. I'm one of the co-founders of UpGrad, and I personally head the entire learning experience and the product at UpGrad. The agenda for the session is that I'll give you guys a very quick introduction to what UpGrad is and what we stand for. A bunch of you are probably already aware, but I'll still give a very quick sort of preamble to that. Then I'll talk a little bit about the Learning Week, why we decided to do this. For all of you who are actually part of the Learning Week, what's the best way to experience Learning Week and to make the best use of Learning Week. And then finally, the main point of this session is to actually take your questions. If you've seen the the construct of the Learning Week, what are we covering, etc. Anything that we can help you, any questions that we can answer to make your experience, during this learning week better. Okay, cool. So I'll just begin with a very quick introduction of UpGrad. So UpGrad is an online higher education company, and our vision is to help build the careers of tomorrow. We do that by offering programs in new upcoming technology areas where there's a big demand supply gap expected in talent in the next few years. We do this by partnering with top universities of India and then bringing in a lot of industry expertise to make these programs academically rigorous, but yet very, very professionally and industry relevant. Right? So currently our university partners include IIIT Bangalore, BITS Pilani, SP Jain, IMT Ghaziabad, MICA, which is the Marketing Institute in Ahmedabad, and then we have one global university partner, which is the University of Cambridge, which is one of the top 3 ranked universities in the world from the UK. The programs that we currently offer include machine learning and AI, obviously, data science, big data, full stack development, blockchain, digital marketing, product management, and a management program in sales and marketing, right? Just very quickly talking about our model, right? So we are not a platform company, right? So we're not like a MOOCs, we're not a Coursera, we're not a Udacity where, we're mostly just content providers. No, we believe that there's a lot more to education than just content, right? So we take what we call a full stack approach to education. We have a 100-member content design team that actively works with all our partner universities as well as all the industry members that we work with to make sure that the content is perfectly suited for an online learning experience, is absolutely up to date, and is refreshed constantly to make sure that we are keeping abreast with all the technology trends. We have a very strong engineering and technology team in-house that's completely developed our learning platform in-house, right? And that was very important because of a lot of technology initiatives, a lot of learning initiatives, a lot of peer-to-peer interaction that happens in our program really needs very, very strong technology input. And that's something that we work on very passionately in-house. So, like good content, good technology is still combined together. It's still like a library, right? But libraries have always existed in the world, and there's a reason why people have gone to universities or educational institutes and really got strong value out of that, right? So the third element of our learning experience, which is the very strong hand-holding and the very strong delivery experience that we provide, is really what sets UpGrad apart, right? You have great content, you have great technology, but what is making sure that you are learning? If you have any doubt, there is someone to listen to you. You are getting that peer and networking interaction both with your cohort as well as with your people in the industry. So that's something that we work on very strongly in all our programs, right? So we have something called a dedicated student mentor program, which is if you are doing an UpGrad program, you have a dedicated student success manager. Any problem you have, any challenges, they are the go-to people for you, right? So their sole job is to make you successful and help you achieve the goals that you set out to in the program. If you have any doubt, any conceptual, any academic doubt, we have a pool of 100+ people that we call UpGrad fellows. These people are people who are already working in the industry in those roles. If you have any questions, we have our discussion boards where you post a question. We let your peers answer for the first few hours, but then every question goes out to our network of academic fellows who then look at the question, answer the question if there is no sufficient answer there, or if a peer has already given a good answer, they verify saying that, look, I've looked at it and this is the right answer for this, right? The third thing that we do is very strongly is one-on-one industry mentorship, right? So this is like a great opportunity for all our learners in the UpGrad program to actually interact one-on-one with senior people in the industry to talk more about their career trajectory. So let's say if you are a QA at Infosys, or you're working as a software engineer at TCS or at Tech Mahindra, what should be your path to become a data scientist? We'll connect you with an industry mentor who's gone through a similar journey, and then they'll be able to kind of exactly guide you. Look, these are the kind of roles you should apply for. These are the kind of skills you should focus on. And then they'll give you very strong feedback on your resume. We'll do multiple mock interviews with you, etc. Right? So we make sure that you get that one-on-one connect with people in the industry. And finally, we provide very strong career support in all our diploma programs. So all our 11-month PG programs have very strong career support built in. We've already enabled more than 300 career transitions in the fields of data science, machine learning, product management, etc. So, we make sure that we go out there. We have a big network of industry partners, as I mentioned, and we source the right job opportunities for all our learners, right? So all this put together actually makes what is special about the UpGrad learning experience. This whole strong handholding and strong delivery is something that we really pride ourselves on, and we really, really work hard to make sure that our learners are successful, right? So yeah, guys, that was a quick introduction to UpGrad. Let me now, jump into the main point of the intro session, which is the machine learning and AI learning week, right? So first question is like, why machine learning? I think all of us have been hearing, a lot of noise, a lot of buzz around machine learning. That a lot of jobs are going to get automated. A lot of jobs might get redundant. A lot of work is now getting taken over by machines, etc., etc. That's on the jobs part. And then how businesses are actually using machine learning to really benefit both their top line and bottom line, right? Daily, we use products that have very strong elements of machine learning built in, whether it be shopping like Amazon, entertainment like Netflix, our email clients like Gmail or Google Photos, etc. Every product today is using machine learning to make user experience better, right? So both the IT services industry and the IT products industry is getting very, very strongly impacted by machine learning, right? On top of that, data science and machine learning has the potential to really be what, IT was 20 years ago, to do to the Indian economy what IT did 20 years ago, right? There's expected to be about 2 million, a demand supply gap of about 2 million jobs in the next 5 years. So it's really like a very interesting and exciting time to learn data science or machine learning, right? And that's why we built actually the first program at UpGrad that we built with IIIT Bangalore was, our PG program in data science. Then we recently followed it up with a PG program in machine learning and AI. And then we have some more specific programs, like a specific program in NLP and a specific program in deep learning, etc. Right? This area is the biggest area of focus for UpGrad. Actually, our data science program is right now the biggest data science program in the country. So it's a very, very core focus area, for us. So now coming to the learning week, right? So the objective of the learning week, guys, is to really give you like a snapshot of the basic fundamentals that you need to really kickstart a career in machine learning, right? So we've included some basic modules on concepts that anyone thinking about a career in machine learning should know. On top of that, we've given snapshots into different elements of the UpGrad learning experience, right? While this is a free learning week, so you don't get all the elements of a full UpGrad experience, you'll still get to experience, things and bits and pieces that will make you realize why UpGrad experience is so special, like I talked about in the beginning of the session, right? So I'll just quickly dive into and just share my screen and just show you what all is in store during the learning week. So that you guys have a good idea of what to expect and then how to go about it. Great. So I hope all of you guys can actually see my screen. So when you register for the learning week, this is something that you land on, right? So we've got 4 journeys for everyone who's interested in the learning week. The first, which is the easiest to understand, is actually the content journey, right? And as I mentioned, we've included some basic modules that everyone who's thinking of a career in machine learning should go through. The first module is just a welcome module, which talks about what to expect from the learning week, how to go about it, what is the best use of the learning week, etc., etc. And it also includes a session on jargon busting, which will take you through different terminologies that are really talked about in this data science industry. To help you understand what does it all mean. Like what is machine learning, what is inferential statistics, what actually is big data, right? If you're already working in the data science of the machine learning industry, you can skip, the jargon busting session. That won't be relevant to you, right? Next, we have 3 introductory sessions on Python for machine learning. It's one called Introduction to Python. The next is called Python for machine learning, and the third is data visualization in Python. If you guys have no experience on working in data science or machine learning in Python, I highly recommend that you do these 3 modules. These 3 modules will form the real base for you for any data science or machine learning role that you potentially aspire for in the future, right? We also have a machine learning aptitude assessment. This assessment, I would highly, highly recommend all of you guys to do it. It'll give you an idea of where you currently lie on the fundamental skills that are needed for machine learning, right? So it'll give you a good sense of, okay, these are my strong points, but very clearly, these are the things that I need to work on before I can think about building a career in machine learning, right? For people who are beginners, as I mentioned, I would recommend doing these 3 Python modules and then moving on to our case study, which is a case study that we built with Uber, which I'll talk about it in a bit, right? So that's the flow I would recommend for anyone who's right now beginner for data science or machine learning. If you're already experienced with Python and you are already working in data science or machine learning, then we have a couple of more advanced modules for you. The first one is a module on clustering, which is unsupervised learning, which is without you telling the model or the system, the model segmenting your users on or segmenting your data based on certain parameters. So this is an advanced topic that you should only do once you're comfortable with the more basic topics of machine learning. Again, for people who are slightly more advanced right now in their data science and machine learning careers, we also have a module on neural networks. So neural networks was a big breakthrough in artificial intelligence a few years ago. It's really changed the efficiency of machine learning models as we know it, and is really a lot of the current advancements that we see in machine learning, whether it be in consumer-facing apps like your Google Photos, your Gmail, etc., etc. A lot of that is being enabled by neural networks because it's really a new way to make models learn and a lot more efficient way, to make models learn. So guys, this is the content, and as I said, if you're a beginner, do the intro to Python modules. If you're more experienced, do the slightly more hardcore machine learning modules of clustering and neural networks. The second journey that we have is actually the Uber case study hackathon, right? So this is our first case study that we actually have as part of our full machine learning program that we made it available to all you guys. This is a pretty basic case study, which is like, so Uber was facing a problem with their demand supply for drivers at airports. They were seeing a lot of cancellations at airports. And then they use data to actually solve that problem. So we actually work with Uber. You'll hear from Uber's head of India in this case study. And we've given you actual mass data that Uber provided us, right? So again, once you've done the basic Python modules, I would recommend you move on to then this Uber case study before moving on to any more advanced modules. For people who are already advanced, I would recommend you start with the Uber case study before doing clustering or neural networks. Now, one of the amazing things about all UpGrad programs is that you get very detailed, personalized feedback on all your case studies, right? So we'll never just give you a solution. We'll never just tell you whether you were right or wrong. When you go into the problem statement, you'll see that we have very detailed instructions on how we are going to assess you. And then on each of those instructions, we will give you very, very detailed feedback, right? So I highly recommend everyone kind of checking this out. Why we've called it a hackathon is that you have until 30th September to actually submit it. We will give you personalized feedback on everything. And the top 5 submissions are actually going to get a prize and a certificate, a special certificate from UpGrad for their performance in the Uber case study hackathon. So guys, I highly encourage you to go for it. It'll be a lot of fun doing this case study and then actually getting feedback on how you performed by actual industry experts. The third journey that we have is called career support. This has modules on, look, what are the different roles in machine learning? What are the different skills needed for those roles? And then really talking about, look, how should you think about preparing your resume? What are the right kind of jobs that you should aim for? What are some other do's and don'ts that you should remember when going for machine learning jobs or starting your career in machine learning, right? While you're mostly going to be focused on doing the content, I would still recommend you check out the career support section. It will also give you an insight of into like, the kind of one-on-one mentorship, the resume prep, etc., that we provide at UpGrad, as part of our full programs. The final journey that we have is networking and live sessions. So this will give you, this journey is for two things. One, we are organizing 2 industry online live sessions similar to this one, but with industry experts coming and talking about a particular topic as part of the learning week. Again, I highly recommend that you guys attend those live sessions. They are with very senior folks from the industry. There's one on introduction to predictive analytics. There's another one about careers in machine learning. The details of both these live sessions are in this module and also in the calendar in the platform. So please go through the time and make sure that you are able to attend these sessions. The second session talks about UpGrad base camps. So UpGrad base camps is a very unique initiative that we have as part of our online programs. Even though the programs are online, every 3 months we organize offline networking and meetup sessions where we call our partner faculty, we call our partner industry members, all the people come together from the cohort, right? So it's a lot of learning. It's a lot of learning from each other. It's a lot of fun. We do like activities like hackathons and quizzes where the top teams get prizes. It's really a way to break anonymity in online education, right? So for us, it's very important that when you're learning at UpGrad, you are never ever learning alone. You have a lot of group case studies. You have things like UpGrad base camps. You have very strong peer-to-peer interaction in terms of discussion forum, etc., even during the program, right? And our main goal is to make sure that you're learning with a cohort of a couple of 100 people who you can rely on always, and it's not just you alone who are learning, right? Guys, the final thing that I wanted to talk about was the way to get academic support or discussion forum. So let's say if you're doing any module or session, with every page, you will have this drawer that you can see for Q&A. So this is the place where if you have any doubt, let's say you're going through this topic and you have a doubt, you don't understand it, please post the question here as if, like this is an example that someone's posted. The tick here means that one of our academic fellows or TAs have actually seen it and have verified an answer that has either been given by another student or they've given a right answer, right? So usually we don't do this as part of our learning weeks, but for this machine learning week, we are actually extending this service for this learning week itself. So if you have any doubt, feel free to ask a question and we will make sure that you get a response by one of our academic fellows. Great. So guys, just the final thing that I wanted to talk about was that there is a certification at the end of the learning week. Whatever modules, apart from the intro module, of course, that you finish, you will get a certificate for your work that you can go ahead and highlight on your resume. It will be a digital certificate, but it will be a verifiable digital certificate. There's an intro survey in the first module, which is the introduction module. That intro survey is mandatory for you to get the certificate. So please make sure that you complete the intro survey if you want a certificate for your work or, for the Uber case study hackathon that you do. So that intro survey is really, really important. It's also important for us to know more about our learners who are coming in and sort of, showing this enthusiasm towards learning machine learning. Cool. I think that's pretty much it, guys, in terms of introduction to Learning Week. I would really now encourage people to ask questions. If you have any questions about what I've talked about, either UpGrad or talked about the Learning Week, what to expect the Learning Week, in the Learning Week, etc., please go ahead and post your questions right now, and I'll try and answer pretty much all of them. Just as a final comment on the Learning Week, as I said, the best way to get value out of the Learning Week is If you're a beginner, do those introductory Python modules first, then do the Uber case study if you have time. Do check it out, even if you're not planning to submit it. If you submit it, you will get detailed personalized feedback on it. Once you've gone through this, definitely take the aptitude test. The aptitude test does not depend on the modules in the Learning Week right now. So you can even start by taking the aptitude test. It will tell you where you lie currently in the basic skills needed for machine learning. If you are more advanced, you're already in a data science role or you're already in a machine learning role, then start by attempting the Uber case study, do the aptitude test, and then move on to more advanced modules like clustering and neural networks. For everyone, do check out the career support module because that tells you about the different roles, how to prepare your resume, etc., etc. And then also check out the networking module because those 2 live sessions that we have are with really great people, and you guys should make sure that you make the best use of them during the week and actually attend those live sessions, right? Great. So guys, that's pretty much it from my side on an introduction to the UpGrad Learning Week. I'll just now start taking questions, as and when they come in. So the first question we have is from Rahul, which is like, what is the difference between Coursera and UpGrad? So Rahul, I'm assuming you joined late. So in the beginning, in the first 5 minutes, I actually spent explaining, the UpGrad's philosophy towards online education and, how we are different from MOOCs providers. I'll very quickly, just answer this question in 1 minute because we've already talked about it. So UpGrad is not a content platform, right? So UpGrad is not just a platform where you get access to content, right? We are very, very strong on our delivery initiatives and our handholding, right? So as part of any program that you do with UpGrad, let's say it's an UpGrad IIIT Bangalore machine learning and AI program that you're doing, you of course get great content, which is 40% or 50% of the content is with the university faculty, from the university faculty, but 50% of the content is through very strong industry partners, right? Which you'll again see if you do the Learning Week, the case study is with Uber, which is with Uber's head of India coming and talking about it. In the intro module in jargon busting, you'll see a lot of very senior data scientists coming and talking about some of those terms, right? So very strong industry connect in terms of the content, a very strong technology platform to enable all this, different learning and peer-to-peer interaction. But then the hand holding is very, very important, which you don't get in a MOOCs or a Coursera platform, right? If you have any academic doubt, we have a network of like more than 100 academic fellows who are there to help you. You have a dedicated student success manager. So if you have any questions, any challenges, you're not being able to meet timelines, they are there they will push you, they will motivate you, they will even scold you at times if you're falling behind, because it's really not easy to learn something new, right? We all think that it's pretty easy. I'll just, do a little bit of effort. No, it's very hard. It's rigorous. You need to make a lot of effort, and the student success manager is there to make sure, that they're with you through the entire, 10 or 11-month journey. There will be points where you'll think that this is too difficult, I want to give up. That's when they come in handy, and they're there to kind of like push you to actually achieve your goals. And then the final thing that we do is very strong career support, right? We have a dedicated career support team here. We give you very strong feedback on your resume. We do one-on-one industry mentorship where you get to talk about your career with people working in the industry. What's the best steps for you? So it's all personalized for you, right? We do mock tests, and then finally we have strong industry partnerships where people come and sort of post jobs to recruit for our learners, right? So some of the companies where already our data science or machine learning graduates are working include Adobe, Amazon, HSBC, Barclays, Fractal Analytics, a lot of the big 4 accounting firms, EY, Deloitte, PwC, etc. And then of course the big IT firms, data science divisions like Infosys, TCS, TechM, etc., etc. So we've really got a breadth of companies where our graduates have gone on and sort of started their careers in data science. Many more graduates have also done internal transitions, right? A lot of you may be working in companies which already have data science or machine learning teams, but you're not in that role, right? So very strong, doing a rigorous, 10 and 11-month program with a bunch of industry case studies with a IIIT Bangalore credential. That's a very strong signal to your employer that, you're very serious about actually making that career transition. So it really helps in internal transitions as well. So with all this like strong support system that we provide, the offline base camps that we do where, it's all about learning and achieving, being successful together. And that's how we're different from, a Coursera or a Udacity or other like MOOCs kind of platforms. How is UpGrad's data science PG program compared to MTech in data science? So this is a question by Adarsh. Adarsh, that's a very good question. So the goal of the PG program for data science or for machine learning is, if you're not in those areas, to make you employable in those areas, right? We're not just giving you a flimsy like 1 month or 2 months like sort of video sessions. No, it's a very strong, it's a rigorous program. The philosophy of the program is that, look, if you want a master's level education, you don't need to leave work. You don't need to leave work for 1 or 2 years. You don't need to pay a huge amount in a university and also give up your income for a couple of years. That was our goal. That's why we partnered A, with top universities, and then B, we made sure that we're not just a video library, right? We are giving all the experiences that you would expect in a top university, right? Which is like all the great content, all the industry participation, and then all the hand holding and the support, right? So we modeled our program very strongly on, like top graduate programs. Like you even have part of your grading is for class participation, for example, right? We don't spoon feed you. Like a top graduate program, we also expect you to go and do a bit of your work. We expect you to spend about 10 hours per week. Out of that 10 hours, you're probably only spending an hour and a half actually watching video lectures, right? Everything else is about doing. Either you're working on codes, either you're working on projects, either you're interacting with your peers, etc. So it's very much about the whole experience than just, just watching video modules. The only difference between a PG program and MTech is that you can't use this as a formal credential for, let's say, if you want to do PhD, right? People have been using our PG programs as a postgraduate credential. Let's say if you're applying for a visa, etc., it's acceptable there. But you can't use it for, let's say, a government job or for a PhD, right? Because it's not a master's credential. Okay, Rajat has a question. I've worked with Python and I've also worked a bit with ML algorithms. Will this be beneficial to me? So Rajat, if you're very confident about your ability in Python, you can then skip the Python modules. What I would suggest is do the aptitude test first. See where you actually stand. That has both programming and non-programming questions. See where you actually stand as fundamental skills on machine learning. Attempt the Uber case study, right? Because that doesn't require any advanced ML algorithm knowledge. Attempt it, submit it. As I mentioned, you will get personalized feedback. So you will know that, look, if I was actually attempting this at Uber, what would my manager tell me as areas to improve and things that I did well, etc., right? And then move on to more advanced topics. So as I said, we've got 2 advanced modules of clustering and neural networks that are available as part of the learning week, right? So if you already have worked a bit with machine learning algorithms, move on to these slightly more advanced algorithms, especially neural networks. That will give you a very strong insight into more complex machine learning algorithms and models. But make sure before you move into something like neural networks, your other sort of basics, you have to be confident that you're solid there. So I think the aptitude test will help you in sort of assessing that. Venkat has a question. How do you help individuals with 14 years experience to transition into data analytics? So Venkat, that is a very good question. And because it's not easy for someone with 14 years of experience to kind of change their track. What we do is, as I said, we provide a lot of things in terms of active career support. When you're 14 years of age, lateral career support is not going to be that useful to you, right? Because you've already built a lot of repertoire in a particular domain or a function. And to jump into a new domain right from scratch and expect the same kind of salary level and the designation level sometimes becomes hard. So this is how we support people who have more than 10 years of experience, right? First and foremost, we really ask them to push for internal transitions. If your company has a team which has data science or machine learning experience, data science or machine learning teams, that's your best bet of starting out, right? To build your credentials as in that field. So as part of the one-on-one industry mentorship that I talked about, we will connect you with a mentor who's made that internal transition, right? And really help you with, look, who are the type of people in your company that you should start talking to, how should you start getting involved in projects, what should you showcase, etc., such that over that 6 to 9 month period, you've built enough capital inside your company that you can go ahead and make that internal transition, right? The second thing that we really help people is to leverage their domain, right? So if you have 14 years of work experience and you really want to make a jump, you really have to leverage your domain. So let's say if you worked in banking and financial services, then that's the best sort of area for you to get started, because to change both function and domain is very, very difficult, especially with such high, at such later part of your career. So I think make sure that you're going in the right domain. If you worked in, let's say you're working in IT services, but you're working on insurance projects or pharma projects or healthcare projects, make sure that you are applying to the companies in that domain, because then you can really stand on your domain expertise when you go out for those roles, right? And then showcase that, look, through the program and through a very credible credential from IIIT Bangalore, I have the skills, I have the domain expertise. I may be a fresher in terms of a machine learning person, but because I have the skills and I have the strong credential, that's the way for me, to leverage my domain knowledge and really start. So these are the two places where we help out people who have such high years of work experience through connecting them with the right one-on-one, right industry mentors who have gone through this journey and can kind of help you to navigate that, right? So for people who have more than 10, 12 years of work experience, it has to be a lot more personalized in terms of career support, than sort of the partnerships, etc., that we do otherwise. Okay, Anant has a question. Is this a pre-program preparation for ML AI IIIT Bangalore program, which starts from December 2018? No, this is not strictly a pre-program preparation. If you enroll into that program, or if you are enrolled into that program, that has a separate prep program. A couple of modules are similar. So Intro to Python will be in both of them, because just basic Python knowledge is necessary for any like starting out anywhere in machine learning. But the preparatory program for the December 2018 program also has a lot of mathematical topics, more topics on visualization, basic exploratory data analysis, etc., right? So guys, for those of you who don't know what Anant is asking, so all our programs, let's say if you're enrolling for the next cohort of machine learning or data science, or the the NLP or the deep learning programs that start in December, we usually have a 1 month preparatory period, because all of you are coming from different backgrounds. Some of you may be stronger in programming and Python. Some of you may be stronger in mathematics than others, etc. So you want to make sure that for your basic skills, you all are at the same level before a program starts. So each of our program has like a 1 month preparatory period before it starts. Vetri has a question on what is the difference between machine learning and data science. Vetri, that's a very good question. And the funny thing is that you won't find a standard answer for it, right? If you find the letter definition or a dictionary definition, machine learning can also be part of data science, or vice versa, right? I'll tell you how the industry uses it, right? So the industry uses data science for, look, first thing is data analytics is kind of used as a subset of data science, where I have a bunch of data that I'm getting, either, it's my user data, it's my company data, it's a product data. I'm working in an IT service company and I have a client, and the client has given me data. Let's say similar to the data that you'll get in the Uber case study, right? So my first role is actually to clean and prepare that data. A lot of people who work in data, who think that data science and machine learning is all just sexy stuff. This is the first step that you really have to do, which is clean and prepare your data such that it is actually ready for some analysis, right? Typically in the Indian industry, a data scientist is someone who will derive insights out of the data just by looking at the data, playing around with it, deriving some statistics and deriving insights for the business, right? That's called exploratory data analytics. The next thing that people do is actually model it. So things like linear regression, logistic regression, the basic machine learning algorithms, right? If you prototype a model, you've created a model, like, look, Uber, for example, in the case study, you've got this data, you create a model out of it, the model makes some predictions, which is the machine or the model actually making the prediction. And then you use that prediction to achieve a business goal, right? That is still machine learning, introductory machine learning, but that's still counted as part of data science as far as the industry goes, right? True machine learning is when you start deploying these into production, right? So it's not just a model prototype, it's actually deployed into a production system. So for example, Amazon's recommendation engine, right? That's a model that's deployed into production. No one is actually looking at the data again and again to derive insights, and that's a model which is in production. So let's say if you go to Amazon and you buy a product or you buy a couple of products, it will automatically start recommending you what products to buy, right? And that's happening in real time. So real-time models which are actually deployed as part of production code, that's where machine learning starts coming in, right? Now, technically, machine learning is a subset of AI, right? If you go by the letter definition. But again, in the industry, when you get to more complex models, which are more sort of either unsupervised or sort of, self-learning models, things like neural networks, deep learning, natural language processing, where you're actually sort of, deriving semantic insights from the data and affecting something in production. That's what today the industry calls artificial intelligence, right? So there's not a very strong boundary between what the industry calls ML and AI. But I think it's broadly, this is what it is. And as part of the intro module, the jargon busting session of the intro module in the learning week, we've actually talked about each of this, that, what is EDA, what is machine learning, what does the industry call AI, what are the differences, so that when you're looking at a job role, you have a good idea of, okay, what is this company actually talking about? Because it's not very standard from each company to each company. So Pavan mentioned I'm working in Java with microservices, but want to learn machine learning. Can I do that and how? Yes, Pavan, absolutely you can do that. I mean, we exist for that reason, is, to help people like you learn machine learning and then make transition into the machine learning career. So if you're already working in Java, so you've got one prerequisite sorted, which is the programming expertise for machine learning. The second prerequisite is good mathematical background, right? So as part of the learning week, I would suggest that you start with the aptitude test that has both quantitative and programming questions, and you can attempt the programming questions in any language. That will give you where you stand right now on the fundamentals, right? Then look at the career module that will tell you, okay, what are the different type of roles in machine learning? See what kind of roles you find exciting, right? Do the basic modules in the learning week, which is the intro to Python, etc. Then when you actually decide to take the plunge, as I mentioned, we have a program in machine learning, which is a full 11-month rigorous PG program in machine learning and AI. And then we have a specific programs in deep learning and NLP, right? Given your background, I would recommend the machine learning and AI program, the end-to-end 11-month program. If you enroll into that, you will have a 1 month of preparatory period where you will, get more content on basic quant, maths, data analytics, programming, etc., such that by the time the program starts, you're caught up on all the fundamental skills, right? And then the program takes you through predictive analytics 1, supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, and then getting into more advanced AI topics like deep learning, neural networks, and then finally NLP, where, one of the projects is actually, we just had a cohort of our ML and AI students just complete their NLP projects, and they've built some really sexy chatbots, right? So all of the projects that we do are super practical, built in collaboration with the industry, as you'll see with the Uber case study, to really by the end of 11 months, have you ready that, okay, tomorrow I can go and start working in a machine learning role, in the industry. And that's why we provide all that handholding and support, because just watching video lectures is not going to cut it. Content is not really the differentiator always on, how much you're able to learn. You need that push and you need that support to go along with it. Avichan, I hope I've spelled your name, pronounced your name right. He's asking, do we have any contact sessions with professors from IIIT or everything is online? So Avichan, most of the program is online. As I mentioned that, but it's not a MOOCs model. It's not a Coursera or a Udacity like where you're just watching videos. As I said, you have a lot of hands-on interactions and experiences. Apart from that, every 2 weeks we have live sessions, which is either with a IIIT Bangalore faculty member or with an industry expert. So someone like a Hindol Basu, who's a head of analytics at Tata, or like, let's say, a head of analytics at Uber, or like, a senior analytics person from Amazon, etc. So all the live sessions are with them, where they'll take you through one concept on how it has affected their business or their industry and take you through that case study, right? So that's a live interaction where you can actually interact with them, ask your questions, etc., etc. Then, as I mentioned, every 3 months we have something called UpGrad base camps, which are only meant for networking, where we'll call some faculty members from IIIT Bangalore, we'll call people from the industry, you'll have all your cohort together, where, the idea is that, you're kind of signing a social bond with them that, look, we are in this together. It's not easy. It's an 11-month rigorous program, but, we are doing this together because we have a lot of group projects. We do all these group activities together. We participate in all the Q&A together. So it's important to meet, each other, meet the faculty, meet other industry experts. And that's how we facilitate that through our base camps. Abhishek Kumar Agarwal has asked, can students currently in fourth year in BTech with 0 years of experience join this PG program? Yeah, so Abhishek, the only condition is that before you graduate from this PG program, you should have graduated from your undergrad program. Because this is a PG program, a PG credential cannot be given to someone who does not have an undergraduate credential. So if you are going to graduate by the time the program gets over and you graduate from this program, then you can definitely join this program. Rahul Goel has a question. Can a software tester move to machine learning? Rahul, that's a great question. We've actually had a lot of people, especially from three companies, Infosys, Wipro, and TCS, people who were working in QA roles, who were able to make the transition into data science and machine learning. So it's absolutely possible. That's the whole point of us having built these programs. What I would recommend you is maybe do the data science program rather than the ML and AI program. I think given your background, you'll have to catch up more on actually programming, deploying programming in production, etc. So I would very strongly recommend you to start with the data science program. That still has the second part of the data science program is still introductory machine learning, and I think a data science role will be the right first step from you going from a QA role than necessarily trying to jump directly to a machine learning engineer or an AI engineer role. So yeah, I would strongly recommend start with the data science program, either the foundation of data science certificate program or the full data science PG program. That will help you make that transition into data science rather than doing the ML and AI program directly. Emika has a question that they would like to know the difference between big data and data science. So Amika, again, I'll sort of, in the learning week in the intro modules, we've actually talked about all of these terms and what it means in the industry, etc. Very quickly, data science is a broader discipline, which is actually deriving, very basic definition is using data to derive insights to impact your business, right? Machine learning, AI can all in a way be subsets of data science, right? Big data is just the amount of data is actually data which is defined by either a very large amount or a very large velocity, right? So if the data set that you have on which you're building your data science or your machine learning models, if they exceed a certain amount, that means they're very large data sets, or if it's a very quick stream of data where the velocity is very high, then we call it big data, right? So to give you an example, let's say Twitter, right? The tweets. That is called big data because the velocity is very quick, right? Even if you're looking at the tweets for, let's say, just yesterday, you can't apply normal data tools or products to solve the problem that you're trying to do because the velocity of data is very high. If you're analyzing every tweet that has been generated even yesterday, that's a whole, like every second there are millions of tweets being generated, right? So because of that velocity, it's called big data, right? Or let's say if you have data of a million learners, of a million people on what they eat every day, right? Like that's a massive, for like 10 years. That's a massive, gigantic data set. And that's called big data because of its size. It may still be static. It's not like it's changing every day and it's a very high velocity data. So either data which is very large in size or is very quick in velocity, those data sets are called big data. All the academic principles, all the data science machine learning principles stay the same. All the fundamental knowledges stay the same. But the platforms and the tools and the techniques that you use to kind of apply the same models on big data might be slightly different. So our data science program actually has a special course on this. One of the courses is called Big Data Analytics, which is that, look, all the fundamental knowledge that you've learned on doing data analytics and the building machine learning models, when you have to apply the same as a data scientist, not as a data engineer, when you have to apply the same to larger or faster flowing data sets, how do you do that? Nituri has a question. Currently, we're enrolled in PGD, ML and AI. Do we get a PG? No, Nituri, if you're enrolled in the PGD program, you still get your PGD. Nothing has changed for you. All the cohorts stay the same. Great. I think that seems to be all the questions that we've got. I'll just wait for a couple of minutes if there are any more questions. Otherwise, guys, yeah, just to repeat, the Learning Week is a great resource for you. You have a few days, figure out where you are, take the aptitude test. If you're a beginner, do all the introductory Python modules, the intro to Python, the visualization, etc. It's been taken by Professor Raghavan, who's actually was consistently rated as one of the top 10 faculty members in data science in India. You have the jargon busting session. The intro module, there's a session called jargon busting. That's actually very important if you're a beginner, because it talks about all these terms that people are confused about. What is the difference between data science and big data? Machine learning hai kya? All of that, right? What is inferential statistics? People talk about hypothesis testing. What is that, right? So just do that session. That will give you at least clarity of, okay, what are these different terms? What are they used for? And in that, you'll also hear from a lot of industry folks, a lot of data science leaders talking about, look, how this particular concept helped them at a very high level in their business. So that's a pretty good introductory session if you're new to this field. Akshay has a question. Are there any scholarships available? Yes, Akshay, we do have scholarships available. We actually just finished a scholarship run that we did with Swadesh Foundation. So to take part in any of our programs, any of our PG programs either in, let's say, machine learning or in data science or in big data, etc., you have to go through a test, right? Based on the test, if you score above a certain criteria and your profile, you get, you are eligible for scholarships. So I won't be able to tell you how much scholarship you can get, but it depends on your profile and it depends on your performance on the test. So it's a very objective criteria. If you're able to do beyond a certain level in the test, then you're eligible for those scholarships. Konark has a question. I'm currently CA final student, cleared CFA level 2. Can this course help me making career in equity research analyst? So Konark, I'm assuming you mean course as the full program and not just learning week. So the learning week is just a couple of introductory modules, right? It's to give you a starting point for some of the fundamental skills and a basic snapshot. In itself, the learning week is not going to give you a career outcome, right? Because it's a very short period of time. Given your background that you are in CA, I would recommend where you can very strongly, especially in the research analyst role, where you'll get very strong career impact is the program in data science, not machine learning and AI. So if that's the career path that you set for yourself, I heavily recommend either the PG program or the smaller certificate program that we have in the foundations of data science. Those would be the right programs for you, not the machine learning and AI program. But the skills that in Learning Week, the jargon busting, the introduction to Python, the visualization, those are basic skills needed for any data science and machine learning role. So I would encourage you to go ahead and do that. It'll also give you, good tester on, look, how interested are you in actually programming these models, which you need to do as a data analyst or as a machine learning engineer. So go ahead, do this learning week, and I think it'll give you slightly more clarity as well. That, look, how interested or how passionate are you actually about this field and this ecosystem. Okay, great. Guys, it seems like those were the questions we had. Thank you very much for sort of attending this. I know it's a weekday evening, so it's excellent that so many of you have given us your time. I strongly expect all of you to go through the learning week and finish as much as possible. As I said, we will provide a certificate for all the modules that you're able to do. Pick the modules that suit you best, do the aptitude test, check out the career resources and the networking resources. Make sure you attend the live sessions. Those 2 live sessions are going to be with very strong people in the industry that are part of the learning week. Check the calendar in the platform. You'll get to know the details. So yeah, make the most out of this, and good luck. We are there to support you. You have any academic question, please post it on the discussion forum. You'll submit your Uber case study. We will give you very detailed, personalized feedback. So I really I'm hoping to see some very strong submissions, from you guys. Yeah, take care. Good luck, and enjoy. This is an exciting time to get in data science and machine learning. So I hope you guys have fun. That's very important. Yeah, take care.